remember graphing sine and cosine functions? Basically it's like the same kinds of shifts we've been dealing with all year. Thank you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna graph these ones on Desmos. I'm gonna type in my equation. Just kidding, it's g of x. I gave him depression. Okay, so what I want to do is notice the graph on the paper. Guys, be quiet. Notice the graph on the paper has pies, and this graph on Desmos does not. This graph? So if I look, Desmos has numbers instead of pies. So if I click the wrench, if I go to my x-axis and I type in negative 2 pi, and then positive 2 pi, and then I go over here to step, I want it to be in pi fourths. Guys, be quiet.
My friend says that apparently if you do that in a class,
Because her what?
because she has big boobs, so I guess like one of them popped, and I guess she died in class. She did die though.
Okay, so questions on how I change the graph. Okay, so then what I'm gonna do is, actually let me change the wrench some more. Okay, so if I look at this, notice these lines, they oscillate around 3, and the high point is 5, and the low point is 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a few of these points on my paper. Okay, so on my paper I went through and I drew a few of these lines. What is this? Okay, it wants me to identify the amplitude, period, phase shift, vertical shift, domain, and rates. So, remember how I said the middle is right here at 3, and it's 2 away on either side from the high and low point? That means that's my amplitude. So my amplitude here is 2, because it's 2 away on either side. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, the period is how long it takes to go and restart. So I'm gonna go back and look at my Desmos. So if I look right here, it starts at 3. I'm looking for the next time it looks like this and starts at 3. So right, so it does it again over here at 3 pi fourths. So what I'm gonna do for my period is I'm gonna write 3 pi fourths. My phase shift is how much it moves left or right. This one has none, because there's no number inside the parentheses with the x. My vertical shift, just like when we were doing functions with like quadratics and stuff, is always the number at the end. So my vertical shift is 3. My domain is all real numbers because it goes left and right forever. Yes, these ones will always be, sine and cosine will always be all real numbers. The ones we talk about tomorrow will not. Okay, and then the last thing I have is my range. So my low point is, let's do this again. My low point is 1, and my high point is 5. So my range is going to be -1 is less than or equal to y less than or equal to 5. And another way you can see this written, why did I write -1? It was a positive one. I can write this in set notation, which is bracket comma 1. No, bracket 1 comma 5 bracket. Like that. Both of those mean the same thing. This and this mean the same thing. This is just another way of seeing it. Huh? I cannot hear you, Stephanie. 1 is less than or equal to y less than or equal to 5. And then over here, this is square bracket 1 comma square bracket 5. They mean this. It means the same thing. It's just a different way of seeing it. So, questions on number 1? I can't. Barely. Maybe I'll do it with you. The only difference is the other one's a cosine. Yeah, it's like the same thing. So do you want me to move on to number 2? And then you'll ask me questions if you have them, or... Okay. So, I'm going to switch back to Desmos really quick to type in this one. Let's delete this one. G of x equals 5 cosine parentheses x minus 3 pi. Whoa, 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 that was not what the function is. What is this? Why do you suck, Desmos? Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna go back and adjust my graph so it looks more like the paper one. Okay, so this is what this graph looks like. I'm gonna go graph this on my paper. Thank you. Oh, okay. So another way I like to think about amplitude, not amplitude, it's period. So if I look at this one, my center line here is right on the x-axis. So how far away is the top and bottom of here? It might be better if we go back and look at my Desmos graph. How far away is this point and this point from the center line? Not 4, 5. So my amplitude here is going to be 5. Because, so, do you agree with me that this is like the line that it's like oscillating between? Going up and down around. Yeah, like, is this the line in the middle, I guess maybe? You don't, no, like, do you agree it's the line in the middle? I'm trying to like find a word that you agree with. Yeah, that it's going around. Okay, so what's the highest point up here? It's 5. And the lowest point over here? 5. It's 5. -5. You were right about it being 5, but I'm looking for the y value. Because it's going down 5. So my amplitude here is 5. Then for the period, kind of see if I picked up these two pieces and put them together, it kind of make a weird looking circle. That's how I like to think about period, is how long it would take to make a circle. Because if we think about it, we were working with circles yesterday. So how long does it take to do this whole wave thing? How far is it from here to here? Yes. So from negative 2 pi to positive 2 pi. 4 pi. Okay, then the next thing I have is phase shift. This is moving left and right. So remember when we did like graphs with quadratics or exponentials, the number inside with x is moving left or right. So this is moving 3 pi right. So those two go together. Then I have a vertical shift. Do I have a number? How come there was what? Because there's no number inside the parentheses with the x. So then this one, do I have a vertical shift? A number at the end? Outside of the parentheses? No. So this one's none. For vertical shift. And then domain is all real numbers because it's going to keep going left and right forever. And my range. What's the lowest point right here? Like the y value. Like, and then less than or equal to y, because y is the letter for range. And then the other way I can see this written is with square brackets, negative 5, comma, positive 5. Questions here? Yeah. Number on the bottom's the first one, number on the top's the... How do I get out of here? I said escape. Escape. There you go. Yeah, so the number on the bottom is the number on the left, and the number on the top is the number on the right. Any other questions here?